Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am the Creative Technology Coordinator here at the Prairie Public Library, and today I'm going to be going over the basics of how to 3D model using Tinkercad. Very simple, very intuitive, and very user-friendly. So what we're going to do first is open up an internet browser. As you can see up here, I have the Firefox internet browser. You can use any internet browser you want. It's going to type in Tinkercad. And then join now, sign in. If you already have an account, just sign in. If you don't have an account yet, you'd hit join now. Since we're just going to be tinkering on our own, you create a personal account. You can sign with Google and Apple. So sign in with Google. And as you can see, right down here are the designs I've been messing around with. These are where your designs are going to be. But before we can start actually tinkering, it's best to learn the basics. So we're going to go up here to the top right to learn. And here it's going to tell us how to actually use the 3D modeling aspects of it. So these are all the starters. We're going to go through each one by one. Because before we can just mess around, it's good to know what we're actually doing. So we're going to go do the direct starters and then work on a few lessons. And after that, you should be good to just jump in and play around with Tinkercad. So I'm going to hit place it. And on the left here, you can see all the directions they give you. Welcome to Tinkercad. We are excited to have you with us. Tinkercad is used to build all types of creations by adding and removing shapes from the design workspace. Let's add a shape to the work plane now. So we want us to add a box. So we grab the box from the right side here, place it there. See the orange shape on the work plane? That is a hint. Hints help guide you as you get started. Find the box and the shape panels on the right side of the screen. Left click and drag the box to the hint on the work plane. Continue to the next step. And that's it. That's step one. Just placing the box. So we're going to continue on. View it is very simple. It's just click on this top left over here. And you move this top left box around here to view your object. Put an object on there. So we have this box here. If you want to see below it, just move this around. Or you can always right click on your mouse to do it. So you have a few options here. Right click your mouse or left click the box on the top left. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in, or the buttons on the side here. Moving it, very simple. You just grab the box, you left click the box, and you just drag and pull into the orange squares. You click the box again, you hit the little arrow on top of it to adjust the height. Do that for each individual one. And there you have it. This one's fairly simple. Just gonna grab this, and once it's rotate it. So at the bottom here, you see this little icon. You just click and drag that into place. Same with this one here. You look for this icon on the top, click and drag. There we go. And this one here, Click that icon and drag. For this one, we're going to be playing with the scales a bit. So we're just going to add a shape in there, add that shape right there, and this shape right here. So I'm just going to click the little black box here and stretch it out. Click this one over here, stretch it out that way. And for this one, I'm going to click the white box to move both sides at once and stretch it out that way. This one is about how you grouping multiple objects into one object. So I'm just going to left click and cover all this. And we go to the top right corner here on this icon to group it. And as you can see, it becomes the same color because they are now the same object. So I can move it around as one piece. Same thing with this one here. Left click, click it, group. As you can see, that one was a different color because that's a whole. So instead of creating a new object in it, it takes away an object. So I just scroll up here. You can see that there is now a hole in where that used to be. So this shape here is a hole. So show that again, left click, drag, group. This one will be fairly simple. I'm just going to take this box here. Left click over it, drag left click until it's highlighted, and copy it with Control C, and then pasting it with Control V, and I have another shape. And then paste it a few more times. There we go. You can also just drag click and copy it from up here on this left icon and pasting it with this right icon. Add a shape here, so we're going to duplicate this one, and then we're going to go over it and Control D to duplicate. So it just makes the exact copy of it. So stretch that out, Control D. As you see, Control D is exactly like copy and paste, but quicker with only one keybind. This lesson we're going to learn about how to hide an object. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the red rectangle and then Control H. To hide it, and we'll show that what's underneath it. To unhide it, just Control Shift H, or hit the light bulb on the top right here to unhide, or show all. So it's going to hide this again. Control H. As you see, some stuff got caught at the bottom. That's okay. It's going to show all. Click this. Control H. And you can just hide any unnecessary things that we don't want. You can, again, you can always just Bring that back, and Control H. And that's how you hide objects. Yeah, this one's all about aligning. So I'm just going to drag a few shapes here out onto the work plane. Just going to put them all at varying degrees. And see, they're all not really lined up or near each other. But if you want them to be stacked in any certain way, you just click, drag, cover all that you want. And click top right here to align them. So I want to line them that way. I want to line them up in the middle. There we go. I want to line them up at the bottom. There we go. So you click this tool right here, align, and it aligns them up on whatever plane that you want them to be. And that's it. That's all the starter lessons you need to know with Tinkercad. Very simple, very intuitive, jump in, very easy to use. But we're not just going to finish there. We're going to also just do some of the lessons they have. And let's go do chess pawn. I'm going to show you how to create a chess pawn. Maybe you want to 3D print a chess set, customize it a bit, make it look cool, show all your friends. So yeah, this is going to show you how to do a chess pawn. So all this is just basic shapes. We're going to grab a cylinder shape. As soon as this document wants to load, we'll grab the cylinder shape here, put that in the middle, adjust the height down to 3 millimeters. That's going to be the base of your pawn. And then we're going to grab the work plane, put it on top, so all our new pieces are going to be on top of this pawn. So I'm going to grab the cone shape and put it on top of the base I just created. Give it a little twirly. There we go. We're going to adjust the height to 11 millimeters. Grab this sphere. The sphere is always the hardest to tell what the angle is because it's a round object. There's not really a lot of leeway on like how to do it. So, and I gotta squish this. A diameter of 18 millimeters. Squish it to the shorter height of 5. So we got 5 millimeters here. I just gotta go 18. Line that up. There we go. You can add a new cone. There we go. I'm going to stretch this cone up a bit, 28. Change the diameter. Alright, I'm gonna teach you a trick here. If you want to, because this is just focused on the middle part right now, but you want to focus on this, but your camera is only focused on the middle, just gonna hold Shift and right click, and it'll drag the camera to any focal point you want. So I'm gonna drag the camera to focus on this bit here. There we go. And I'm gonna click this to go to 14 millimeters. Drag that there. There we go. I'm gonna drag it over here. cone. A diameter 12 and a height of 19. So there's the 19 height. Let me change the diameter to 12. There we go. Click drag. There we go. Next, we're going to rotate this cone 180 degrees. So we're going to grab this tool up here, just spin that around right there. Move this here. You're going to have to raise it up a bit. So I'm going to this black triangle at the top, center it. There we go. Lower it down a bit, raise it a bit. There we go. Like that. We're going to add a new work plane on the base of that. And there's a sphere shape. Just line up the lines in this circle. Change my stamp grid to off so I can line it up better. There we go. Next, and change that sphere to an 8 by 8 by 8 by 8. So, alright, I'm just gonna undo that because I want my stamp grid for this to be 1. So it goes down in 1 to make it easier to get that 8 by 8 by 8. So there's the 8. That's close enough to an 8 by 8 by 8 by 8. There we go. Next, I'm going to reset the work plane. Just click and drag that anywhere. I want to go back to this as my focus. So shift, right click. There we go. I'm going to select all the shapes. I'm going to align them up with the align tool in the middle. There we go. There we go. Select all the shapes again. Group. As you see, they're all changed the same color, so that means they're all grouped together, and I can just move it however I want. And there you have it. That's how you create a chess pawn. You can use the basis of this to make any other chess piece you want. Like, have a star on top. Flip that. 90 degrees. Raise it a bit. Flip some more. There we go. Make it smaller. Squish it. And boom, you have a chess piece with a mohawk, otherwise known as a bishop, or a weird looking horse for your knight piece. So yeah, that is how you do a chess piece. And that's pretty much just the basic of how you do 3D modeling with Tinkercad. Very intuitive, very user-friendly. I highly suggest doing this, just fooling around. I'll show you some of the stuff that I've fooled around with. This was just me fooling around. I made this little 3D guy here. His name's Dwayne the Block Johnson. Flip this guy around. There you go. So yeah, you can create stuff like this using basic shapes, using all the custom shapes you got here. So you got characters on the right, hands, glasses, shades, beanies, mustaches, astral bodies, chicken feet, numbers, basic shapes. The scribble one's pretty cool. Let's see here, grab this and click that, and I get a top view, and I just scribble. Done, and it creates the shape. Hi. So yeah, this has pretty much just been an intro on the basics of Tinkercad. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this inspires you to get into 3D modeling. Very fun. And of course, I hope this inspires you to check out our 3D printing options here we have available at the Grande Prairie Public Library. Now that we've gone over how to use Tinkercad, maybe you don't want to build something on your own. Maybe you just want to import something that you can fool around with. So that's why we have sites like this, Thingiverse, where we can just download any files that we want and import it over to Tinkercad, like so. Now that I've downloaded my STL file here, I can just go over to Tinkercad, create a new design, import, choose a file, default settings here, and ta-da, we have the file I just imported from Thingiverse onto Tinkercad. And with this, I can do whatever I want to it. Say if I want to give it some glasses. Ta-da! That's how you import files from Thingiverse. Now I think you're ready to just see how it'll look like on a print job. So I will go over here and open up Cura. So I have Cura opened up here, and this is where we'll be doing our 3D printing prepping. So I want to open up a new project. Open the file. Go to my documents here, and then we have that Pikachu. There we go. This is how it'll look on the Cura app that you have to download. I see my settings here, 20% infill. I'll probably drop that down to 10. The tail might need some support, so I'll add some supports on the side. Other than that, defaults looks pretty good. Then we'll hit slice at the bottom right here, and then I'll slice it to show us how long this print job would take. About an hour and a half to print this. It's not too bad. Let's try something else here. So if I come back to Tinkercad here, I'll open up this 3D model I rendered. I'll go up here to export as an STL file. And then I'll open it up with Cura. I have it up here in Cura. You can see there's edges here that will not be good for print job. So let's do a test slice here. take 4 hours or 5 hours, but it might not print well because of how it's orientated. You have all these hard edges that the print might not do well on. So support. And here we go. I set up 0 angle. So everything that looks like it'll need support will be supported. Or if you don't want to do it this way, let's see here. I can change it on the left back here. I'll reorientate the thing for a better print. So I'll go rotate, select the side that I want to be on the bottom. So that'll be the head. Let's see my settings here. My support. Give this a whirl. All the blue you see are the supports. The reds are kind of a warning of like it might not print well. So this model in particular might not print well, but it's all trial and error. And here at the Grand Prairie Public Library, we highly encourage you to do all this yourself to get the right idea of how it'll look on the print. At the end of the day, we want your print job to come out as best as possible. So if you do all these preemptive steps to make sure that it comes out exactly how you want it, it will make our job here easier. Thank you for tuning into today's program. We went over a lot of stuff. I hope it was very informative. I hope you've gained a lot of information from this. And I hope to see whatever cool 3D things you print in the future.